Hello, Gemini. It's great to see everybody again. I hope you're having a great day. Much love from both Apollo and I. I'm really excited about today's forecast. A lot of great information was coming through during the meditation. And also last night, as I was, even in my dreams, I was getting a lot of information for the sign. That's kind of how it works whenever I'm getting ready for a reading. I get a lot of information both in the hours before and also the evening before. So when we get to the channeled message in just a second, I have like 3 different messages that came through that I'll tie together. So it's some great stuff. We're also, if you're joining us live, we're right at the end of retrograde. It'll be going direct tomorrow, Mercury. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm really happy that we're kind of shifting through that. And as a result, because these are for April 2020, all these readings, Gemini, what I'll be helping you look at is opportunities for renewal, rebirth, kind of reinvention. And that's what I've been doing in each and every sign. After you've worked through all of that stuff, which is uncomfortable and sometimes not what you want to see, then you have this new opening. And I'm trying to kind of open up opportunities and that space for kind of shedding your skin for each and every sign. So I'll be helping you with that, okay? First of all, let me just introduce myself in case you have come here for the first time. I know sometimes you just see a live icon and you're not sure who it is. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. And for all the folks that are returning, I saw a lot of you in chat earlier this morning. I want to say welcome back and thank you for having your energy here. I really appreciate it. A little bit about how I organize the readings. I always separate this into about 4 major parts. I like to start with the channeled information, and that's just pure psychic downloads. So before I show up, I meditate. I write everything down old school on some cards, and I'll share that with you. And then after that, we will use regular cards to lay out a roadmap for the month ahead. And this is going to show you any of the highlights, any of the lowlights, any of the sort of opportunities that are presenting themselves. And then after that, we'll go into something special. I'll review what we've talked about, expand the forecast looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And then we'll get into this opportunity for renewal. And this is going to also encompass a meditation as well. So I'll pull some cards, past, present, and future influences on being able to break through or reinvent yourself. And then we'll do a meditation to help facilitate that. So that should be a lot of fun. I hope you can stick around for that. One thing I'd like to mention here is that everything is fan supported. So for those of you that have been kind enough to either become a member of the channel, which is you can click this little join button, basically that's underneath. I'm going to show you what the icon looks like here. It's this. There's a little $ next to the smiley face. And within that, you can do a super chat, which is like a sticker, or you can emphasize something, or you can also become a member. For those of you that have done that, thank you. You help me continue to buy new cards, and I appreciate that. I'll give you some more information at the end on how you can give back in other ways, but let's get into the messages. One thing I want to do is thank Maria and Ryan for always showing up and making this a nice, safe space. They're my moderators. They're going to be able to answer some high-level questions while I'm talking. Unlike many psychics, I don't really do pick-a-card readings here. So this is going to be my ability to just download and share stuff with you. But you can say thanks, you can support me, and after the video goes live, I'll extend my gratitude to you. All right, with that being said, let's get into what I was picking up on for your sign. So when I closed my eyes and tuned into the energy of Gemini for the month of April, there were a couple of images that came through. The first was, I don't know if any of you do astral projection or have had that feeling of being able to fly in a dream. That's kind of what I was starting to see and feel, was this ability to just kind of have no strings attached. I was kind of like Peter Pan or something. I was flying up through the air. Sometimes I was going higher than I thought, and I was able to do backflips and all of this stuff. And what it reminded me of was, 1, don't underestimate your own power, and 2, flexibility and reaching and stretching, both not just in your body, which I think is an important part of this, but more up here, being able to stretch your ability to entertain a possibility, like maybe I can do this, or even push yourself. Sometimes we get into that stubborn way of thinking, like it won't happen, I can't do this, and we start to create sort of blocks, energetic blocks. So the acrobat that I was seeing in my head was a reminder that we have to sometimes move ourselves out, take this sort of leap of faith and move out of that, and then you'll start to feel untethered. So the first piece was that, to kind of become this mental acrobat, to allow yourself to playfully go in different directions and dimensions that you wouldn't normally go. reach, stretch, and soar. And that's what I was starting to do at the end. I saw myself then kind of just flying through the clouds. One of the things that I was feeling as I went through this was I was going through like a rainstorm. So my hair was soaking wet, my body was wet, and I just kept flying through and above the cloud deck. And so that's what I wrote next, was to get through that, because I feel like I was actually reading for the last sign. There was a card that had basically clouds, and I broke through the symbology of this. Clouds can indicate ideas. They can sometimes be painful parts of our life. It can just be our own sort of mental clutter that we need to clear out. I think that there's a little bit of movement that's going to happen at the beginning of April that's going to encourage or push you to get above that situation. It could be just difficulty in your family, in your life. It could be loss. It could be sadness. But it's momentary, and you are going to be able to stretch, reach, and soar above this. So a little bit of a distraction, a little bit of turbulence, if you were to kind of use the metaphor of a plane, but you are untethered. You have your own sort of ability to get beyond that. And then what I also wrote, it's all about going higher in elevation with your thoughts. So I said, keep your thoughts elevated. And if I were to pick a word that would really kind of align with all of this, it would be hope. I would say hope, optimism, and being positive. And if you are going to be critical, find a constructive element in it so that you know how to solve things. So I really think that April is a breakthrough month for you, but in order to break through something, it's kind of like whenever we see the Eight of Cups coming through, you have to let go of one cycle to create another one. And this is really what your opportunity is. So many of you are going to have to look at what you're currently involved with, whether it's a relationship or job or just a habit in your life, and think, does this still serve me? Am I feeling a sense of fulfillment in this? If not, what else can I do? And that can be the part where you're reaching and thinking and going above it. And if you're really struggling through something, a painful divorce or a really difficult loss in your life, or a lot of turmoil at school or at work, then this is also reminding you that you have to find a way to reach cognitively above that and to start to think around it. What's next? Because that doesn't have to define who you are, where you are. It's just a moment in time. It's like one little punctuation point. And if you can think of like what's coming after that, I think that's going to be really, really effective. So this is a nice segue to take a look at the cards and see how they're going to direct you in the month ahead and what opportunities are going to present themselves. As you know, at this point, I like to remain quiet. I'm going to just pay attention to the cards, their placements, and I'll receive some additional information as I do that. But afterwards, I'll go through each and every card. So stick around, and I can't wait to see what the month of April has in store for you. All right, we have some beautiful cards, some beautiful messages coming through. The number 3 repeating itself throughout this. We had 3 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles. Also, there's an oracle card that shows the number 3. Even the 4 of Cups emphasizes the 3 cups in the front. So there's something really powerful with, I think, for you, gatherings, because I see all of this and I see a lot of people coming around you this month. And I think there's a lot of support that is there if you need it. It's also a card, whenever you look at tarot, the uneven cards show moments when you are trying to achieve new balance. So when we see a lot of threes, three to me is powerful. The Trinity is part of three. So it's basically making sure that maybe you've separated yourself into different parts. You get a chance to unify and to integrate this month. But the other thing with threes is you're trying to stretch, you're trying to accomplish, you might be finishing. So just stick with it. There's a little bit of unevenness that'll eventually give way to balance. Because then you get to four and you think of like Four of Wands. It's a very good thing. It's one of the cards that I associated with 2020. So I think that you're getting there. And this is just a month to kind of finish things up. Let's talk about each card one by one. We have in the Catalyst position. By the way, Catalyst is going to help you connect to the highest energy, thus the name Catalyst, and kick things off. It also helps you see a connection between everything here. So it says, one with the sun, be the light. The card is reversed. But I want to pull it up right so you can see this beautiful flowing energy here. And it's hard to see, but there's actually kind of like a person that's going into the light here. So with the card in the reverse state, what it's showing me for some of you is you might have been in a place where you were either forced to or encouraged to maybe dim your light a little bit, or you might be worried about outshining people around you. And I think that as light workers, what we should focus less on dimming and more on sort of sparking light in others and shining as brightly as we can. So if there's been someone in your life, whether it's a parent, a teacher, a friend, who just was trying to make you blend in and be something, fit into a mold that didn't feel right, this is saying, you know what, that actually isn't me. I'm going to reemerge, reinvent myself, and shine in the way that I want to. So maybe it's a creative career that you never allowed yourself to do. Or maybe it's deciding to, leave a relationship or love somebody that people don't think you should love. Whatever it is, it's redefining your own version of happiness and success and probably breaking other people's ideas of who you are. But you're going to take that muted light and allow it to really shine out. The important thing when you do something like this in your life is to share that kind of announcement and that decision with joy. Say, this is something I'm really excited about. I care about you. You're someone that I love, and I want you to be one of the first to know that I'm doing X, Y, or Z. So that's it. Like, this is a moment to truthfully and I would say transparently walk into something that you want, and don't worry so much about others. So the other thing with this, I talked about that metaphor that I saw, flying through the rain, right? For me, whenever I see the ocean, bodies of water, or rain in general, it can show turmoil. I notice some of you are dealing with loss and difficulty. This is saying that there is something worth pushing through, and I saw you getting above the clouds. This is what's above the clouds, but sometimes it feels like you're in this energy, which is a little bit lower frequency, a little darker. So keep pushing, keep moving, and start to do things for yourself. Anytime I see a solar plexus colored card in reverse, I can't help but sort of think of focusing on the ego, and we have a couple of them. We also have the sun card in reverse. So with both of these solar cards reversed, I want you to focus on your center of power, your solar plexus. I want you to focus on relationships in your life and think, has the balance of power shifted? Is that other person constantly tugging or taking away from me? And you're going to find a way to bring everything into a nice, even space. You'll see more about this in a second. I want to talk about the center card here, which is Hermit Reversed. This is reminding you that it's time to come out and basically kind of re-emerge, come out of your shell, find a way to connect with people that love you. As I saw all of those threes earlier, I just got the feeling that there is support there for many of you, or there might be new connections waiting to be established, but part of that requires you to make the effort. And sometimes when you're going through a difficult time in your life, whether it's, you've been through a difficult health issue or disappointment or whatever, it's not always easy to kind of be around people because we don't want to show our vulnerability for some reason. In the modern world, we see that as a weakness, when in fact your crowning card is strength. So it's saying, believe it or not, you're very, very strong. Even if you're going through something that makes you question, why am I feeling this? Or I haven't felt this kind of way before, whether it's emotionally or energetically or physically. So get out. This is basically, at the very least, get outside, get out into nature. Sometimes when I say this, people will kind of spout back, well, it's snowing outside or the weather's bad. You still need to kind of change the environment. So if it's not getting out of your house, or if it's not kind of getting outside, it might just be changing the environment, going to a friend's house or to a family member's house. But still getting outside, even when it's snowing. I grew up in snow country around the mountains when I was a kid. I put on the galoshes and go outside. And on the East Coast, it was a very icy climate. So I'm familiar with weather, even though I've been in California for a couple decades. And it still was peaceful. Like in wintertime, there was a beauty. You could almost hear, like I had really good hearing as a kid, maybe not as great now, but I could hear the snowflakes fall on the ground. And there was something really peaceful when you listened to the sound of snow or you felt the cool, crisp air. I spent some time in New England, and I would love it when it was like bright skies, but really, really cold, and it kind of woke you up. So don't underestimate the power of winter to also be a healing and awakening element. So don't use it as an excuse. I'm calling it your accountability on that. Get outside, kind of like allow yourself to be seen in that way first. And then as you start to get more comfortable in your energy, start to get back connected with friends. All right. We were talking about the balance of, I would say, relationship power and also just your work-life balance. This is what we really see here with justice at the center. It's over top of the Hermit card. Some of you might just need some time to yourself. That's all these two cards are saying. This is saying don't overdo it, don't underdo it, if that's a word. But basically try to keep everything in balance, all things in moderation, including privacy and alone time. It'll go a long way to just sort of, if you work too much, that's fine. You can take a night off, take a day off, take a sick day, etc. Justice is also about really trying to understand what you want, what you need. It's arriving at a decision, not necessarily having that decision just yet. To me, that's judgment. But justice means it's around the corner, and you might be forced or faced with some opportunities that require your attention. So that rest and also the sort of variety and balance in your life is going to allow you to think better. So that's a good thing. All right. Some of you have some unfinished business. When I look at Deep Past, we have Three of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards, because whether it's upright or reversed, it shows completion and recognition. And especially with respect to education, school, and any sort of projects, this is a great card for writers or for anyone that works with their hands. A lot of times architects and people like that, this can show up as well. But with it reversed, it means something has sort of fallen away from you a little bit. So maybe you have a semester left to finish and life got in the way and you had to deal with something. Now you have a chance to take care of you and finish this up. There could also be something in your life that you need to take care of. Maybe, again, you're trying to do something for self-improvement and you've been spending so much energy on everyone else. And that's where the work-life balance or the balance and happiness kind of is gone. So this month, you're going to decide to invest in yourself. When I see Pentacles reversed, it's just basically, what do I need to do to feel a sense of fulfillment, to be balanced, and in this case, to finish something important. Also, if there's people in your life that aren't recognizing you, that's a component of the Three of Pentacles. Question whether it is a lack of self-confidence, whether it's a lack of appreciation, or again, if there's something that you need to do in order to get into that next step. So this could be going back to school again, or getting a certification so that you can then throw your hat in for consideration. Whatever it is, give yourself the chance to finish that up. Many of you are watching this ahead of April, so you'll have a chance to get some traction in that area before April hits. I like what we see in recent past, Page of Cups. So new relationships are coming into your life if you want them. New friendships, new opportunities. Also, when we look at this, it's an expression of your creativity or passion. The card is upright. There's a lot of cards reversed, but this one, which is an important one, is upright. Pages really define the way we show ourselves. They're like broadcasting cards, right? So what one of your biggest strengths this month is basically your emotional stability and your ability to convey your emotions to others, aka being passionate. So use that as one of your keys to success. A lot of times for Gemini, I would expect just general communication to be there. This month, I'm getting emotional stability and passion as being one of your biggest strengths. So lean on that and get to that place of feeling like you're balanced. That's why I'm pushing pretty hard to try to find that balance. And so the first part of your month should be achieving the balance. And I would say the latter part is starting to capitalize on opportunities that come through because of that. You're able to handle anything that comes your way. That's the first thing that I get when I look at strength, particularly since she's in the crowning position. The other thing with this is to focus on your body. Are you taking care of yourself? The more you can do that, the more this vessel is strong and ready, the more energy it can channel, the more challenges it can face, and the more it can handle challenging people in its path here. So the strength card can always show that there is a little bit of a tug of war. And if there is, you're going to be able to overcome that because there's always a little bit of domination with this card. So if you have to go in for contract negotiation, if you're trying to get a raise, if you're trying to speak your truth and have someone recognize you and respect you, that card shows me that you have everything necessary to make it happen. So I feel good about it overall. You could also have new love coming in the form of Leo. So that could be another possibility. One thing that I will say with new love is to make sure that it depends what you're looking for. Because what I'm seeing here is that there could be an imbalance. Maybe the person is younger or less experienced or likes to kind of have someone lead the way. So if you're looking for someone to be the leader, this person may not kind of align with that. So just make sure that you're pulling in a strong enough partner. That would be my note there. All right, focusing on other relationships in your life. When we look at the near future, we have 3 of Cups in reversed. One of the reasons I love to read reversals is it's a wildly different interpretation when it's reversed. Upright, it can show new love. It can show third parties coming into your life, for better or for worse. But with the card is reversed, it can also be trying to break into a very tight-knit group. So if you are starting something new, like a job or a new school, or you just moved, maybe you're retired and you moved into a new community, the 3 of Cups in reverse can show that it may seem like people are kind of aloof or difficult to get talking to you for a while. And that's probably not an illusion based on what this card is showing. I would say it's almost what I'm seeing in my head is to kind of be like a cat, which is show your presence. Don't try to force anything too much. I've owned a cat once when I was a kid, and if I tried to love it too much, it's the reverse of Apollo. It would run away if I went to try to pet it. I had to kind of sit and ignore it, and then the cat would come over to me. So when people are cliquish around you, what you want to kind of do is not need the click so much. You almost want to put the energy out that I'm worth being recognized. If you're smart, you'll recognize me. And you have to kind of put that detachment, and then the click will come to you. So don't try to break into the click. And honestly, do you need to be a part of it? That's sort of a rhetorical question that I would throw out there as well. 3 of Cups still shows new love coming through in your life, but the timing may be off. You might have just met someone. They might be still with someone. There's entanglements that often happen with the 3 of Cups. So whether it's someone in your family that, again, could be gossiping too. That's the other element with 3 of Cups. So because it's reversed, because we're coming out of a retrograde, because there's a lot of self-work going on, I would say try not to get entangled in other people's problems or issues. Don't worry if they're not accepting or inviting you. Keep putting yourself out there. You'll find the right people. One thing that I've noticed energetically is that if I have to work too hard, it's probably not worth it. There are some things where you're going to work really hard on yourself when we go to school, when we're working for fitness and things like that. But there are other things where if you're repeatedly being denied, it's a sign that there might be something that's more beneficial or compatible with your energy. So specifically with these friendships, you shouldn't have to overextend, I would say. And again, one of the big things that I see this month is personal development. When we see in your ego the Ace of Discs or Ace of Pentacles in reverse, there are a couple of messages that come through for this. First of all, whatever you put into your life, into your body, into your energy, it's going to be a good investment. You'll get a return on that. The other thing, I can't help but see that we have the bull here, which I would also equate with financial markets, and it's reversed. We're entering into a time when it makes sense to be smart with money and smart with your time in general. So this is the reverse of a bullish kind of approach to your expenditures. So being more mild, being more moderate, and still seeing that you can make things work, because an ace is an ace no matter what, right? So the other thing could be, do I feel like what I'm getting from this being love, because Ace of Pentacles can be love and marriage, work because it can show work, or school because it can show, you putting time and energy into something. Whatever the expenditure is, do I feel satisfied? Because it cuts both ways with an ace. So this could simply be a chance for you to say, I don't feel like this is worth what I'm putting into it, so I'm going to reinvest. I'm going to take this and put it into something else. Okay. So reallocation is what I see with this overall. All right. So with the Nine of Wands in reverse, this is in your environment, and the environment really indicates that you don't want to give up. This is what's going on around you. Sometimes when we get to the 9 or 10 of Pentacles, fatigue sets in, and that's why the Strength card was in the crowning position. And with the fatigue, with this, what I really say is don't give up. Whenever you see 9 of Wands, there is a general note that you've worked really hard to get where you're at. And sometimes we just kind of get to a point where we think, I can't take this last mile of the race. This is saying it's worth it. And by the way, there could be someone there that could help you carry the load. This is the only 9 of Wands where I don't see just a single person. There's a lot of teamwork in this deck, but also overall, I get the feeling that there are other people in your life that can be there to assist you and help you. So just know that you can do this. Don't give up. I do want you to pay attention to not pushing your body too much. I'm going to say that. With the 9 of Wands, there can be a tendency for injury. You don't see it in this illustration, but usually you'll see a bandage around the head area. So sometimes it can just even be like a migraine, but it could also mean that if you push yourself too far, too long, like if you're driving a car, you could fall asleep, or you could just kind of get messy and have something on the job where you're not performing like you should, or your body will just give out a little bit and you'll get sick. And you don't want to do that, especially with all that's going on. Take care of yourself right now, okay? Looking into opportunities, I read this sort of in my time zone and my calendar. So when I'm looking at the sun, I would see right now it could be one of two things. It could be summertime here in North America, which is not far away, a few months away. I can also see it as one solar pass, taking the Earth around the sun, one rotation. So what I'm seeing is that the next year, the next season is going to be much better than the current season. And this is a love card too, depending on which deck you're seeing here. This one is a little bit more akin to the 6 of Cups than I would see in some of the other decks. But what I'm seeing is maybe a return to an earlier version of yourself. I posted an old picture of myself on Instagram the other day. And it's funny because I looked at pictures over the last 20 years and I was surprised at different points. Sometimes I didn't look like myself, but this one I thought, I kind of got back to that little kid that I was. There was a sense that I recognized him, and I'd lost him for a while because I worked too hard. There were some difficult things in my life. And I kind of understand the symbology in these cards because of that, which is sometimes we have to regain a sense of optimism, of playfulness, of hope. And I think that that's your opportunity this month, is to get back to something you lost as a little girl or a little boy. And this is your chance to find something that matters. And that's where you're going to find your power in the solar plexus too. So kind of meditate this month. Maybe we can do it. I'm going to try to remember this. Sometimes I don't look at my notes when I get into meditation, but today I will try. I want to try to go to the inner child today and try to help you get back to something that you've lost. I'm also going to get you through that rainstorm, which I saw earlier. So stick around for the meditation and I'll help you with that. And we see elements of this in the outcome, 4 of Cups. This is a perspective card. Things are better than you think. There's an opportunity around the corner that will help lift you up. And you already have things to be really grateful for. And even the challenges that exist make you exactly who you are. Even, like we look at our childhood sometimes and we think, if I could have done this, or if I would have known this, or if they would have done this. The truth of the matter is, sorry, that's a neighbor's dog. They're walking by. The truth of the matter here is that everything that happened, all the challenges have really set you up to be who you are. And would you really want to change them? Because it led you to coming here today. It led you to these opportunities around the horizon. I think at this point in my life, I wouldn't change a single thing. I probably would have perceived things differently, but the decisions that I made led me to where I'm at. And I talked in another sign about a dream that my guides had showed me where they said, do you want to go back? You could relive it all. But I looked at the alternate reality and it wasn't as good because you can't redo you can't kind of like bottle that lightning again and make it happen the same way. So see your blessings, and practicing gratitude is going to be a really effective way to start to shift opportunities in your life. So a gratitude journal, just saying a simple prayer, saying, thank you, God, for allowing me to wake up today. And to think clearly, like you can go to the very base things, and this is going to help you start to have breakthroughs and bring more abundance. All right, let's expand the forecast. I'm going to take a drink here, and then we're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll get some additional insights into everything we talked about. All right. We have this beautiful lotus flower here. We're looking at your health card. And health for me is mind, body, and spirit. And I really love all of the different, these were the clouds that I was kind of seeing in my dream. And I could see, again, going up and above that cloud deck, and you see this beautiful sun. I talk about the Matrix a lot. There's in the third movie, for those of you that stuck through the series, there's a moment where they go above the machine city and they see the sun. And it's like this moment before all the craziness happens. But I feel like for you, there's this beautiful sun break that's ready to kind of come through and remind you of what matters. And with the lotus flower, okay, for those of you that are experiencing some sort of a spiritual awakening, the lotus is absolutely connected with the crown chakra. So you could start to experience a greater connection to your higher self, to source, because the crown, just a little bit of a side note, I had an unusual awakening. There are different types of awakening. You can have like a Kundalini one where it kind of goes from the base up. You can have awakenings in different parts of your body. I had an awakening in the crown first, which is not ideal. And it was spontaneous. There were things going on in my life. So I just all of a sudden woke up. With the crown, you start to have things like empathy, clairvoyance, telepathy. So you could have some of the higher clairs kind of opening up with that. So if you spend some time this month in meditation, I would encourage you to try to avoid the spontaneous opening and make sure I don't have enough of, I don't have it in front of me right now. You could get like obsidian or a different sort of grounding stone. I've mentioned before, you can just take a rock from outside and hold on to that. So make sure that you're grounding yourself properly when you meditate. And I also posted something on Twitter, and I think also to my Facebook page, about using trees as a meditation technique. Find a way to connect with the earth this month and make sure that you're getting grounded enough. All of the plants here are real. I get that question a lot in the comments. But I also have outside on my porch plants that are in dirt. These are in a bark medium. But if you work with anything that has soil, that's also great. Even if it's in a pot, even if you just go to, Trader Joe or whatever your local grocery store is and buy a plant and kind of repot it, that will help ground you as well. Grounding yourself in purpose, grounding yourself with some activity that you love, literally putting your hands in the ground. All these things are key because higher awakening wants to come through. And to be able to fully go out into outer space, you need to be connected or tethered to the earth plane. It'll allow you to go deeper, further, and really exist out in that other dimension longer. Okay, so I'll try to help you with grounding as well when we do the meditation. I think I'm going to I've been using the beach lately, so we'll do that. Okay, let's look at your wealth card. Well, actually, I want to look at one more thing with health. Let me just quickly scan to see if there's any other messages. Okay, there are two messages that come through. For some of you, I see some digestion issues this month. The solar plexus card, the sun, and then all of the pentacle cards being reversed. This can show either the type of protein that you're eating or the time that you're eating it could be off. So talk to your doctor, talk to your nutritionist, see if you can do something if you're having any pains in your stomach. There were two areas that were showing up, the stomach and then also around the head, which makes sense if you're having some sort of a crown awakening. But it could also just be a stress headache. So if that's happening, obviously do whatever you can to reduce the stress, make sure you're getting enough hydration, and talk to a doctor. I'm just looking at spiritual pieces to this, as so I'm not a doctor, but from a spiritual perspective, if you have pains in your head, sometimes like if I meditate, I feel like someone's pushing on my third eye. Totally normal when you're meditating. Sometimes when people are talking to me, I will feel certain activation points in my crown chakra, just in case you're having the crown awakening. Also really normal if you're doing meditative type work, because it's basically chakra points opening up. So that's just a little bit of an aside. Sometimes when I feel a pain in my stomach and I'm talking to someone, I can tell that there's either an unhealthy connection between them and I, or that there might also be something going on just with them. So those are forms of empathy if you're starting to awaken to it. It's a quick pain that only exists while you're engaging with someone, and otherwise you're fine. So I'm just letting you know in case you've never experienced sort of sympathetic pain or empathy before. Okay, with wealth, we have Artemis, Apollo's sister. It says individuation. Individuation. Yes. Okay. When I'm looking at Artemis, really weird word. I've never seen that before. So let's talk about being independent. She's also the hunter and is associated with the moon, and we have a full moon coming up. Looking at the lunar aspects of this card, and that really speaks strongly to what I'm seeing here. Don't be afraid to look at what matters. Don't be afraid to do it alone, as this card says. And also, because it's a divine feminine card, take the lead. Artemis kind of like pulls at the energy of the ocean tides, right? She goes after what she wants. She's the huntress. So you basically want to be able to kind of like Two of Wands, see what it is that you want, continue to keep that vision in your mind, speak up. You have that ability. That's part of your sign. And go through things, like even things that are kind of scary, and push through it. That was the first thing that I kind of saw here, was to reach, to stretch, to go above things. So Artemis is reminding you of your divine feminine aspect that you can push through, that you can rise above. Looking now at love. Interesting. We have like a different kind of version of the Three of Cups here. So look at if you kind of pull back, you'll see the silhouette of the person, right? And then you can see their auric field. And then if you look really close, then you see the three faces within that person. So for some of you, again, it's that feeling of being an outsider. Do I belong? Should I be a part of this? What are they saying? I would say don't worry so much about that. Easier said than done, right? If people aren't speaking highly of you, then who is it? RuPaul has that phrase, what you think of me is none of my business. It's kind of like a wink and a nod, which is, I don't care if you don't like me, and you can keep it to yourself too. So I think this is kind of a great connection to this, which is you're strong enough that you're not defined by others. That in-between space is really who you are. This other stuff is just them popping in. Fill yourself up with what you believe, what you think, and don't worry, don't fill yourself up with other people's thoughts, because it's always going to be codependent at that point. So you deserve better. If people are doing something and they've proven their true colors, it's okay. Something better will come along. The sun, this wonderful, compatible, celebratory energy, a twin star, basically. So when I think of binary systems, kind of like what you saw in Star Wars and Tatooine, those two stars, those exist a lot in the universe, not in our system, but in other systems. And that to me is an ideal partnership. Two stars emanating different light, but not competing, not eating each other up, just kind of in this cosmic dance forever. So that's what you're looking for, not this gossip, not this feeling of being an outsider, not worrying about it. Let it go. It's the past. As we look now at destiny here, we have overcoming obstacles. And this looks a lot like King Arthur. It's funny, I was reading a deck the other day that had a kind of Arthurian message. It says you can overcome anything, and that's Excalibur. You would pull it out of the stone, of course. The card is reversed, which feels like for some of you, the power has been diminished. You've either underestimated yourself, or you've given it away, or someone told you that you couldn't, but they're wrong, because you're the only one that can fix this. And I'm telling you, you are powerful. You're more powerful than you think. You're the one that can solve whatever problem's in front of you. And so you don't need to go to someone to fix that. We're talking, of course, figuratively, whatever is going on as far as like how you perceive yourself. This is really the answer to the Four of Cups. It's perspective. When you change the perspective and when you start the mantra in your head, I am powerful, I am capable, I will do this, all of a sudden you start to rise above, you start to do it. Let's quickly review what's coming through here, and then I want to move into the bigger piece, which is how can you get to the breakthrough point, and what might that breakthrough be for you? I think one of the key things is understanding your power, understanding your strength, because that's what we're really seeing with these two cards here. But we'll take a look in a moment and see what the cards display there. Okay, so Reviewing the channeled or psychic information at the beginning, I had this vision of you kind of doing these acrobatic type feats of strength, reaching, stretching, soaring above, to the point that you were actually able to push through the clouds. And this was a reminder for you to stay elevated in your thoughts, to really be hopeful, to be optimistic. And if you go critical, to keep a constructive element with that. There was a common theme today about balance, particularly power cards. We see the Excalibur card in reverse, and we also see the Sun card here and this Solar card. So shift it around and step into your power, your light. Go where you're drawn. Don't worry. We have a lot of threes this month. Three of Pentacles, acceptance, recognition. Three of Cups, sometimes gossipy or cliquey energy. And then this three here, which was showing an amalgamation of these two. So who cares about that? Be an individual, be yourself, step into your light, inspire yourself, and spark the light in others. Don't dim your energy for anybody in your life. You are the light. You are the spark. Think of yourself as that Olympian that passes that kind of light, the torch, on to the next person. Part of that involves coming out of your shell, finding work-life balance, giving yourself a chance to finish something that's important to you. It could be going back to school. It could be just doing something for yourself that feels like it's going to fill the cup up, which we saw up here. So it's about fulfillment and completion. Through that comes recognition and your own confidence, which is also going to bring in more abundance. I think love is definitely possible for you this month if you're looking for it. If you're married or in a relationship, balance is key. And we'll talk about something with existing relationships in a moment, but I just want to also say that how you convey your passion to others is the successful kind of component. This is a keystone card this month. So stay in that higher energy or that sort of happier energy, and it's going to pull opportunities towards you. You can handle anything that comes your way. These two cards are perseverance personified. But with this card reversed, don't give up. That's what we're seeing. And be careful. Don't overextend your body. You need proper rest. You need proper balance. Okay, so for existing relationships, when the Three of Cups comes in, there is a sort of question. Do we still have each other's back? Do I still love you the way that I used to? Perhaps somebody has come in, a friend, a family member, or a third party that's challenging your relationship. So you have a choice. Are we going to stay strong, or are we going to allow that person to come in between us? So I think some of you might have a decision to make, and this is what justice is about. Do I stay or do I go? The choice is yours, and you have to be happy. Again, with the Strength card up here, you should never have to force something or someone, like the Bonnie Raitt song, I Can't Make You Love Me If You Don't. So, you know, when a lot of people will have readings with me and say, how can I get this person to love me? I would just say, love yourself. And if that person can't love you, then that's not compatible with your energy. So don't force it. That's the message there. There's a lot of opportunities. This is the reason. Maybe a new job, maybe a better spending of your time. And guess what? It's not always about what you make. That's what this card is showing. Maybe you take a little bit of a pay cut, but you do a job that you love. And that could be more fulfilling, more happy for you. So I was talking with my mom the other day about how money is an illusion. It's an expression of the work and energy that we put into things. But the reason we see ups and downs in the financial markets is because it's also based on emotion. So it doesn't matter. Money's an illusion. We can't take it with us. What matters is, do we feel recognized? Do we feel worth what we're doing? Do we feel like we're completing something? Does it matter? That's all that matters with respect to where you're at in your life right now. I feel like many of you are on the precipice of finishing something, so finish it. I do feel like that's important. You'll be able to move on. The Sun card, being able to perhaps regain a part of yourself that you lost, or find a really high energy partner. There's a little bit of work to do on yourself, believing your own power for that person to see you and for the relationship to be balanced, but you're nearly there. It's perspective. That's really what this is about. And we saw that perspective here in the Excalibur card. Believe in who you are, believe in what you can do. Don't give that power of decision to other people. That's also here when we look at relationships. I'm working backwards, but it's okay because that's the way the cards want to go. And when I'm looking at wealth, wealth is really about going into what scares you, because we have Artemis symbolizing the moon. All of these things are going to get you grounded so that you can go further in everything. So health, realize that new things are opening up. Wealth, be strong, go through whatever scares you. Love, you are more than the sum of your friends. You're more than the things that they say or think about you. 3, 3, and 3. I feel like I need to pull the 3 cards together so you can look at them. So this is recognition, this is acceptance, and this is thinking like, do I really need that? Am I really what they say, or am I who I am? The answer, of course, is you are exactly who you are, and you always have been that. This is just the kind of illusion part of it. And then this is going to bring you to that place of being strong and able to take on whatever comes your way. Okay, so some great messages. Independence and strength definitely shining through really, really strong there. So let's go ahead now and take a look at past, present, and future influences. And this is going to be in how you can break through to whatever you want to shift into next. Because it feels like many of you are getting close to wrapping something up, whether it's coming up right now or at the end of this year. It feels like a new phase is kind of entering into your life. So let's look at that inner child portion and see maybe what it is that you lost and you can reclaim. All right, we have Ace of Cups in reverse. And so for some of you, I feel like you've already started that reclamation with the Page of Cups. This is about following your heart, about loving yourself, and also about unconditional love. So maybe your parents or your family just wasn't really capable or prepared to support the kind of child that you were. If you were very artistic or very expressive, they may not have known what to do with you, or whatever they were looking for, there might have been a little bit of incompatibility. This is saying you were more than enough. You always were. And because of that, we want to get you into a habit of not looking for fulfillment through acceptance of by others. You're going to fill up your own cup. You're going to be the one that takes control. Let's see what might be contributing to the rainstorm that I saw. All right, we have 10 of Cups in reverse. This is also about pushing back on family and friends and community and the world that kind of sometimes is taking so much from you. It's also a reminder to look at how much you're offering everybody else. If you constantly, I'm all for service. Obviously, I'm here, I'm serving. But service is about balance, and there is reciprocity. And if you're not receiving some sort of acknowledgement or support for what you're doing, it's time to shift things up a little bit. So the 10 of Cups in reverse means that if you're constantly running on empty, then you're empty. And I want you to start to do things that make you feel happy and true to you. There's so much love, though. Ace of Cups, 10 of Cups, 3 of Cups, the Sun, Page of Cups, even the 4 of Cups. Like, you have a lot of beautiful energy around love, but there's some stuff going on that feels like it sometimes pulls you out of that. So we'll work on that in the meditation. Again, once you get a handle on that emotion, that's when I feel like you can truly soar. So let's see what's around the corner. Knight of Cups. So we get an upgrade here. You start to get stronger. Gosh, there's so much. Relationships are really important this month, suffice to say. I feel like I pulled up every possible Cups card here. Page of Cups, Knight of Cups, Ace of Cups, 10 of Cups. Okay, so relationships for some of you, because these 3 cards, if I was just doing a 3-card pull for your sign, this would show new love. This would show marriage and community and developing that new love. And this shows you being better for that experience. So I think that once you truly see how much you have to offer, really great things can start to come through for you. And it's success, it's being loved, but the love starts inside. But definitely, if you're looking for new love or to repair a relationship, you can do it based on the cards that I saw. But you have to love yourself, you have to love that inner child, and you have to have better boundaries with family and friends in order to do it, because then they're going to see you as a strong person and they're not going to walk all over you. All right, let's move into the meditation. This is really a powerful part, and I'd love for everybody to stick around if you can. If not, watch it on replay, because this will help basically pull everything that we talked about into an integrated piece. I would like to say one thing before we get into this meditation, because I'm going to bring us out into outer space. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do that right now. It means a lot. And I found out that almost 70% of the people that watch don't subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to click the subscribe, but it does show me and it shows YouTube that you like the content. So I'll get off my soapbox and now let's get into the meditation. I'd like you to picture yourself on a nice warm beach and really feel the warmth and radiance of the sand. If you've ever been out on a beach or even on the grass after the sun has been shining all day, you can feel that warmth. And that's what I want you to connect with first. So go ahead and close your eyes, and I'm going to set everything up. We're going to have a singing bowl meditation at the end as well. So see yourself on a beautiful beach, and I want you to take your hands and create a circle around you so that you're basically sitting on this Ace of Pentacles, this disc that we saw earlier. And as you sit on this disc, I want you to start to see looking with your third eye. I want you to see the beautiful light that has collected on the sand as the sun has shined on it all day long. And it's almost as if you're sitting on a chariot of light, a vimana, it would be called in like an old Indian text, star chariot. So see yourself on this beautiful disc of light. And as you breathe in, I want you to pull the energy through your root chakra and start to feel it traveling up your spine until it goes through the crown. So we'll basically be coming upward like a flower, and I want you to see each and every stream of light coming up and creating this beautiful lotus blossom through your crown chakra. But we're going to pull the energy from the sand, which is an earth element and has been heated by the sun. So we'll take about 3 deep breaths, pulling this light energy through our core, through the root, through the core, all the way through the top of our head. So nice deep breath, inhale. On the exhale, let go of any fear, doubt, or uncertainty, sending it all the way to the edge of the horizon, beyond the ocean, beyond the edge of the earth, all the way out into the outer reaches of space, beyond any place that it's going to touch you anymore. Allowing only the light of the sun above you and the light beneath you in this beautiful disc of light to basically define your body. We were looking at that card in relationships. We saw that beautiful silhouette. We're going to push those faces out of that silhouette. The words, the thoughts, the energy of others. With this next breath, we're going to break them out of your energetic system. Really make this breath count because breath moves energy. So don't do a shallow breath. Follow the sound of my breathing. Inhale through your mouth. Let it go again through your mouth. Really push it out and repeat again. Good. Take a moment, allowing for your breath to go into a normal breathing through your nose, out your mouth. I want you now to take a moment and look at yourself from up above. See the beautiful streams of energy that have come out and created this beautiful lotus petal of light around you. Keep breathing until that flower starts to open up completely, and then connect with the sun, which is perfectly overhead. See this beautiful stream or beam of light shining down around you through the petals of the flower, and also perfectly connecting with the disc of light beneath you. And I want you to start to feel now, just like an ancient deity, that you can rise up, riding this chariot of light that we've created beneath you, allowing the beautiful petals to almost be like wings that are going to float along in the air. So just see yourself starting to go up from the planet, removing yourself from the constraints of your belief system, removing you from the connections to family, to fear, to work, to finance. And as you start to get up above the cloud deck, you can see the planet as this beautiful swirling globe of blue and green and white. And you see the sun above you, stronger, brighter, and more powerful than you ever imagined it to be. And you also see yourself, and you realize that from this distance from the planet, you are just as large, just as bright, just as resplendent as the sun, because our soul burns brightly, just like a star. I want you to regain that solar strength that perhaps you've forgotten. Like Excalibur, you have to seek it out and try to pull the sword out to realize, I am the one. I am capable of doing this. Go within your solar plexus, right around your belly button, the place that you were originally connected with your mother. I want you to connect to your higher self with that solar plexus, your true source. And I want you to allow for a download to happen through the solar plexus. Feel that you are divinity. You are a divine being. You already knew what you wanted and needed to do on this planet, but through the amnesia of reincarnation and birth, you forgot it. So in this moment, at least gain this one insight, which is I'm capable, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm part of the divine, and I can do this. Inhale and see your solar plexus around your belly button again start to really light up. So bright again that we can't see your body. We just see this beautiful, bright circle of light that is you now. You are a solar deity. Inhale. Let go. Just relax for a second. Let your eyes relax. Let your neck relax. Let every muscle in your body relax. And just sink into this new version of you. Feel like any piece of your past that was holding you back just starts to melt away. And you feel this lightness, this power that you hadn't before. And it's lightness in two forms: the light that is emanating from you, this beautiful golden white light, and also this lightness in your spirit, highest possible frequency, almost archangelic, because we all came from that source. Take a moment to drink all of that in, to fill up your spiritual cup and to see your body completely filled with light and filled with this self-worth. I am someone that I love. I'm someone that someone else would love. I'm worth opportunities coming into my life, and I define me. Others don't define me. Allow this to set in while I do a little bit of sound therapy, and at the end of this, I'll bring you back into your body. Just keep your eyes closed. If you're listening on headphones, you want to tune the audio down. Otherwise, just enjoy. All right, take a gentle breath. Pinpoint your body back on the earth. See it as a gentle light sparkling just like a star. I want you to see a beam of light extending from your crown chakra to this beautiful star that you've become in the etheric realm. And I want you to travel through the beam of light back into your body, feeling that this journey is almost like drifting to sleep at night, gentle, reassuring, easy. If you'd like to, you can imagine a feather traveling through this beam of light, the feather symbolizing the knowledge, the energy, the truth that we've just attached to. See that feather coming into your crown. Take a deep breath as that energy comes back into your body, as your consciousness locks into your physical form. Feel brighter, lighter, untethered as you gently open your eyes. Take a moment to wake up by bringing both hands together, creating some friction, some warmth, some energy. Take your left hand, put it on top of your heart, your right on top of that, and exhale. Welcome back. Remember now that you have the power, you have the energy to work through things. That by filling up that cup, that inner child that we looked at earlier is going to be okay. That you were able to get above that cloud, that rainstorm. And we remained grounded the whole time. You were able to come back into your body. So remember that it's okay to know who you are, know what you want to do. You're going to be able to go further by doing that. So thanks everybody for being present today, for being a part of this. And I see a lot of people stuck around, and that means a lot, because this is really why I'm showing up every month. I'm trying to be sort of like what we saw here. I want to pass on the flame, pass on that spark so that you can be stronger, so that you can be brighter. Thank you so much. I noticed some folks are doing super chats. If you want to do that while I'm talking, you can click on this. That means a lot. We were talking about reciprocity. If you got something out of this, feel free to do that. It lets me know that this matters. There's also a way that you can kind of like set it and forget it. If you join me on Patreon or you become a channel member, that's just an ongoing donation, and it will help keep this channel healthy and happy. So the way that you can join me on Patreon, it's the same username on YouTube, Patreon, and Facebook. It's just my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, at Nicholas Ashbaugh. And again, if you set up one of those contributions, like $1 a month, it really helps. You can also find other ways to connect with me on my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. I know both Ryan and Maria have been putting out these links. I'm just doing some visual aid since I can't do it any other way when I'm doing live. Please join me on Instagram. I'm actually close to a milestone there. I almost have 10,000 subscribers. When I do, I can actually start to put links in the stories. That'll be easier for reminders when I go live. The other thing that I do is I use stories quite a bit to remind people, and there's a little countdown timer. So again, my username is Nicholas_Ashbaugh there. And please join me today if you haven't done that. And also Twitter. I always try to send out a tweet the day that I'm going live and a few days before, and that way you will be reminded. I mentioned earlier that liking and subscribing is free, so do it, please. And for those of you that are old school, you can also give a contribution through PayPal. If you're interested in scheduling an appointment with me, you can also go to my website. Information about that is there. So thank you. I'd just like to take a moment. I saw that we have people from all over the world. It means so much that you took time out of your day, whether it was lunch or evening or morning, to become a part of this. So I hope you enjoyed the sound therapy as well. I used to do Kundalini yoga, and one of these days I'll get a gong because when I'm playing any sort of instrument, I'm also meditating with you and sending out love and light. And it's a really great way to finish up what we've done. So hopefully you enjoy this. I'm going to try to keep sound therapy and meditations as I can. And I appreciate you. All right. Much love and light to everybody that has shown up today. Thank you so much. I have a few days of client readings, but I will be back on Thursday and Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. So there's a link to my schedule there. You can just go to nicholasashbaugh.com/live on my main website, nicholasashbaugh.com, or you can just join me on Facebook and Instagram and you'll get reminders. Thank you again. Remember again how much love is coming through. I want to end with these cards. Fill up that spiritual cup first and foremost. We got the key on how to do that through the meditation. Feel free to re-listen to that as needed. There's a lot of love and a lot of opportunity coming through, and I'm excited to see what you decide to do with the passion. It's your choice, all right? Take care. Love and light to all of you. I'll see you real soon, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.